Welcome to the Homeownership podcast presented by Movementum Realty, located in Hanover, Massachusetts. This series covers all things real estate and the best practices for buying, selling, and owning property. Now here is your host, Sean Maloney.
Welcome to episode 225, Housing Wants versus Needs. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Maloney. Thanks for joining me this week. This week, I want to talk to you about your housing wants versus your housing needs, and exactly what that means. What's the difference between a want and a need, and why is it so important that you define it correctly to your real estate professional? I really want to get this one right so you have a better understanding how to better communicate with that person that's helping you find a home. So first off, in simple terms, something you want is something you'd be okay with not having, but it will be desirable to have. In order to make a purchase, you would still make the purchase without the want, but you prefer to have it. We can possibly even satisfy the want later on by buying something with opportunity. Say you said to me, you want to buy a house with a garage. Maybe with a want, we can find land that has the space for a future addition on the house that could be your garage. Maybe you're going to save up for it in the future. So kind of want versus need. Want is, it'd be nice to have a garage. Need is, I have collector cars that have never been outside and they're never going outside, and I'm not buying a house unless it has a garage. That suddenly went from a want to a need. So I hope that helps you better understand and differentiate the two, because the want is like, okay, it'd be great to have. The need is like, I must have. And there's lots of places where we run into this throughout the purchase process. Sometimes people might say something to us like, Sean, I would love to live near a golf course. And then with just some simple questions, I ask them, well, do you play golf? And they say, no, I don't play golf. I actually just like having open space next to my house. Well, it's a good thing I asked that question, because now that I found out it's about the open space and not about the golf, right? It's more of a want than a need. They don't need to live next to a golf course. They want to live next to a golf course. But you know where else they could live? Next to a nature preserve, next to wetlands, next to the ocean, next to a sports field. A lot of different options come out as soon as I identify that it's a want versus a need. So one of the cool parts about wants is they're a little more open-ended than needs. Needs have to be met. Wants are what we're pushing towards. Now, another common one for us, especially on the South Shore of Massachusetts, most of the towns are what we call septic communities. So instead of having town sewer and the wastewater going away from the property, it has its own underground system right in the yard. And in last week's episode, we talked a lot about Title V. Title V being the process of getting the system approved by the government based on its actual performance. So with Title V and everything going on, one of the requirements is the bedroom count. The size, tank, and system of your septic determines the number of bedrooms that the house is allowed to be deemed. So this means you might have a very large house and only be 2 bedrooms. So how does this tie into wants versus needs, you probably wondered? Well, we meet people all the time that say, I need 3 bedrooms. I need 4 bedrooms. And when we get back to those important questions and say, what we are looking to use it for, oftentimes things like a Zoom room or an office or a playroom or a guest place to sleep will come out. And at that point, we realize, well, this bonus room that we have here, or this little nook that we have in the basement, or this playroom that is upstairs could have a sleep sofa in it. Lots of different options to make that want versus need, where you might not look at the 2-bedroom house thinking it won't work for your current desires. So as a consumer, you got to start asking yourself, is this a want or is this a need? And is this need actually needed? What do I mean by that? Am I holding myself back in life by having so many needs that I can't actually find housing at this time? It's strange to me that often I see people wait as much as 5 or 10 years to buy a house because they can't afford the one they want then. But the truth is, in real estate, getting in the market and paying off your mortgage, just continuing to make that payment, is building equity. And the house, maybe it's not the one for you forever, but after 5 or 10 years, you usually have gained some significant equity and built up some significant value in the properties, because the property value has climbed during the process of ownership, which means in 5 or 10 years from now, instead of saving up what you can out of your extra money from rent, you're saving up what you can out of your extra money from your mortgage. You're paying your mortgage, which is paying down the principal, and The world around you is growing and values are going up, which puts you in a far better place. So allowing your needs to get out of control will really, really impede your ability to move forward. This is very common with people who want large yards. They want pools. They want to be close to the water. They want to have a garage. And all of these are great elements of a home. And they may be what makes a home perfect for you. I don't know your wants versus your needs as far as the scale of 1 to 10, how much you actually need it. But imagine thinking to yourself, if I just bought a house without a garage, lived there for 5 years, and then sold, I could actually buy a house with a garage. Or I buy a house where there's enough space that I could build a garage in the future. Guys, understanding your wants versus needs is very important, and there's only one person who truly understands your want versus your needs, and that's you. Communicating that with your real estate professional is going to help them find the perfect house for you. If you keep telling them you need something, but it's really a want, they may not be able to help as much as you want. It's funny, as a real estate professional, out shopping for homes with people, oftentimes they send me results that don't match what they told me. The more you tell me, the more you communicate with me, the better help I can be in your home search. Working together and collaborating is the key to finding success in real estate. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Make sure to tell all your friends and family about this great free podcast all about buying, selling, and owning homes. Lots of great free information just to better understand how to find success in housing. Thanks again and have a great week.